Hello everyone, welcome to Assis Biology. In this video, we are going to discuss about female reproductive system, and this is the second part from this chapter, human reproduction. Before starting, let me introduce myself. I am Assis Kumar Das, a student of MSc Animal Biology, University of Hyderabad. And you are new to this channel, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for getting more updates. Now let's get started. So first of all, what we will learn today. So we will see what is female reproductive system. Then we will see what are the different parts associated with the female reproductive system. We will see what are the function of the different parts, what the role they perform in the process of reproduction. Then we will see what are the associated glands with the reproductive system, and we will see what is mammary gland and their functions, and many more. So first of all, female reproductive system. So what are the parts? First of all, it consists of a pair of ovaries, that is two ovaries, one in the left side, another is the right side. You can see in the diagram there, these are the two ovaries. Then the ovary is the primary sex organ because it produces the gametes and the hormone. Then the secondary sex organ includes the duct system, that is a pair of fallopian tube. These are the two fallopian tube, and the fallopian tube is also called as oviduct. And a uterus, this is the uterus, middle part is the uterus, and cervix, you can see the cervix, and the vagina, and the external genitalia, okay, and mammary glands. So what are the different parts? Ovaries, oviduct, uterus, cervix, vagina, external genitalia, and the mammary gland. So first of all, ovaries. So this is the primary sex organ, that is it will produce the ova, that is the female gamete, and the sex hormone. These are generally steroids in nature. Then it is located in the abdominal or pelvic cavity, one on each side, one on the right side, another on the left side. In some animals like birds, only one of the ovary is functional to reduce the weight, okay, as they have to fly in high heights, so they must reduce their weight, and that's why only one of the ovary is functional. Then it is almond shaped. The shape of the ovary is like almond shaped, 3 cm long, 1.5 cm broad, and 1 cm thick. These are the dimension, and it is attached to the uterus and pelvic body by ligaments, okay. So ligaments means these are the parts or tissues, they connect one part of body to another part, so they are attached by ligaments. There are variety of ligaments, okay. Then it is covered by thin epithelium including the ovarian stroma. So the central fluid filled part of the ovary is called the stroma, okay, and it is covered by thin epithelium. Epithelium has a usual function, protection, okay. Then two regions are the peripheral cortex and the inner medulla. This you have to remember. The peripheral part, that is the outer part, these are the outer parts, these are the cortex, and the inner part is the medulla, okay. And the ovarian follicle are various stages, you can see in the diagram. It is the first the primary ovarian follicle, secondary ovarian follicle, oocyte, okay. All of these things we have to see in details in the oogenesis. So you must remember the central part is called the medulla, peripheral part is cortex, attached to the pelvic body and uterus by ligaments, shape, size, dimension, etc. of the ovary. This diagram shows the cross section of the ovary. Now fallopian tube. So fallopian tube extends from the periphery of each ovary, okay, from this part the fallopian tube is starting, periphery of each ovary to the uterus, okay. And so you can say a fallopian tube connects the uterus and the ovary. So it is a muscular tube of the length 10 to 12 cm, situated above and behind the urinary bladder. It is present above the urinary bladder and behind it, okay. Then what are the three parts? These parts are important: infundibulum, ampulla, and isthmus. So here you can see the infundibulum, you can see the ampulla, you can see the isthmus, okay. So what are these parts? We will see. So infundibulum is the closure to ovary. So the closest part of the ovary is the infundibulum, and it is having finger like projection called fimbriae. You can see here they are the finger like projection called as fimbriae. And what are the function of fimbriae? They help in the collection of ovum during ovulation. Then the middle wider part is called the ampulla, and the innermost part, the part closer to the uterus, that is most distant from the ovary, is the isthmus. So the isthmus joins to uterus and is narrower. So what are the function of the infundibulum? They are having finger-like projection called as fimbriae, and they are helpful for the collection of ovum during the ovulation. And the fertilization always takes place in the ampullary isthmic junction. We will see this in detail. Now come to the uterus. So uterus is a pure shaped organ. So in this diagram you can visualize the uterus, okay. This is the part of the uterus. So this is the main part, this is the uterus, okay. And this is a pure shaped muscular structure attached to the pelvic wall and supported by ligament. So it is attached to the pelvic wall and it is supported by ligament that connect one tissues, the specific tissues that are helpful for attachment, tendon, ligament, etc. Then it has three layers of tissue, that is perimetrium, myometrium and endometrium. First of all, perimetrium. Perimetrium is the outermost layer. You can see in the diagram, this is the outermost layer. Okay, this is thin and membranous. It is composed of a number of membranes surrounding each other. Then myometrium. The myometrium is the thick layer, middle thick layer of the smooth muscle. You can see the color difference, the perimetrium, the myometrium and the endometrium. Okay, and the middle thick layer, and it is made up of smooth muscles. And the endometrium is the innermost glandular layer. So myometrium is the innermost and glandular layers for secretion of various hormones. Okay, then what happens, what is the function of smooth muscle? Smooth muscle in myometrium is responsible for the expulsion. This will be for expulsion. By mistake I have written it FOE, so it will be for parturition. During parturition, the contraction of smooth muscle is necessary, and this is performed by the myometrium for expulsion of the baby. Then endometrium undergoes cyclic changes during menstrual cycle. So the endometrium undergoes cyclic changes once that is during different phases of the menstrual cycle, that is the ovulatory phase, proliferative phase, luteal phase, menstrual phase, etc. So we will see this in detail in the menstrual cycle. Then endometrium undergoes cyclic change, I have told already. Then uterus opens to vagina through the cervix. So now come the vagina. Vagina is the muscular tube-like structure that opens to outside. Here you can see the vagina that opens to outside. It is covered with a membrane called as hymen. So usually the hymen rupture during the first quarters, but sometimes due to active participation in some sports like athletics or horse riding, etc., may lead to rupture of hymen. So rupture of hymen may or may not be a reliable indicator of loss of virginity. Okay, so cervix and vagina together constitute the birth canal. Cervix along with the vagina, they constitute the birth canal through which the baby is expelled out during the birth or during the parturition, to be more specific. So what are the function of vagina? There are two functions of vagina, that is the receive the male gametes during the insemination and serve as birth canal during parturition. So these two functions of vagina are important. Now come to external genitalia. So external genitalia includes various parts, that is mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, clitoris and hymen. So what are the location and the function we will see. So first you see the mons pubis. Mons pubis is a cushion like fatty tissue. So this provides cushion. Okay, this is a fatty tissue, thick layer of fatty tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. Then mons pubis extend down as labia majora. You can see the labia majora. This is called majora because this is thicker, means this is wider in area. Okay, and surround the vaginal opening. Then the labia minora is a paired folds of tissues under the labia majora. So labia minora is smaller layer and labia majora is bigger layer. The labia minora encloses a space posteriorly called vestibulum. You can see the vestibule, for singular it is called vestibulum. Okay, and anteriorly unite and form a conical projection called clitoris. You can see the location of clitoris here above the urethral opening. So clitoris is present above the urethral opening. Okay, now hymen is the membrane that partially covers the vaginal opening. I have already discussed. So you can see the posterior of anus, the posterior commissures, position of anus, etc. Now mammary gland. So mammary gland is a functionally structurally associated gland with the female reproductive system, and it is a modified sweat gland. Okay, modified sweat gland, and the presence of mammary glands puts animal under a specific class, that is the class Mammalia. We already know. And what is the function? That is, it helps in the process of ovulation, gestation, parturition and care of child after birth. So milk gland or mammary gland is necessary for the nourishment of nourishment of the fetus or nourishment of the child after the birth. So nourishment of child after birth. Then what are the various functions we have discussed? That is in the process of ovulation, gestation. So accordingly, in these phases, the structure and the function of the mammary gland changes. Then it is a glandular tissues divided into 15 to 20 lobes. The mammary lobes, you can see here, these are the lobes, mammary lobes. Okay, and each of them lobes contain a cluster of cells called as alveoli. So inside each lobe there are a number of cells called as alveoli, and which opens into mammary tubules. So you can see here in the diagram. Okay, alveoli, then they will open into mammary tubules. Mammary tubule unite to form the mammary duct. From From each alveoli arises the mammary tubule, and the mammary tubule unite to form the mammary duct, and the several mammary ducts join to form the mammary ampulla, that is wider in diameter, you can see. And here this is the mammary ampulla, bigger part, that is the enlarged portion. This is the mammary ampulla, and it is connected to lactiferous duct. You can see the lactiferous duct here. This is the lactiferous duct, and through which the milk comes out. So the milk is stored in the lumen of alveoli and secreted by the cells of alveoli. So milk help in the nourishment of the child after birth up to 1 or 2 years. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching.